Can you break down how you spend your time on various board activities?
Discipline and planned process in the board is very critical. Because there's so many things going on in a large organization, we divide the board work into multiple committees. So the committees focus on the issues, then they report back to the board. But the committees also have a charter so that they can have a planned agenda of what they need to cover in which board meeting on a regular basis. Obviously, there are exceptions and issues which come up and they need to be attended to in the committees and then in the board. Okay, so it changes with time, but there is a set calendar of things that board does. For example, in most boards, they have at least one of the meetings which focuses on long-range strategy for the company, and they review that every year. So that's kind of an annual process. Then there is at least one meeting in which they finalize the annual plans and the budget for the company. So that's a full board responsibility. And the other 2 or 3, depending on the board, some board meet 4, some board meets 5 or 6 times. Bank boards meet much more often because they meet almost every month. That's almost required. So the rest of the meetings are review for quarterly performance, of annual performance, of any risks. So IT agenda, new things, M&A activity, capital allocation, projects, all that is part of the calendar. Now that is if nothing unusual is going on, but there's always something unusual going on in the industry, in the company. So those issues come in to the board meeting as well. And sometimes in between board meetings, so you got calls and video conferences, all that happens. Big M&A transactions, M&A is normally part of it. How are you growing the company organically as well as through M&A, or you're doing divestitures? So that sometimes happens in between the board meetings, but mostly you already know what is being considered because that's part of the board process of capital allocation. So that's how we divide the work. And then we divide because there's so much focus on human resources and compensation. That's an important committee of the board. The audit committee, finance committee, sometimes audit and finance are together. Risk committees, which typically reports into audit committee, except in financial services, where there's an independent risk committee, because their business is risk. So we make sure that the committees, and then you have the Nominating and Governance Committee, they look at governance items, proxies, the process of refreshing the board, getting new, and even selection of CEO. So we form special committees sometimes, whether it's for M&A, maybe for a legal issue, maybe for some whatever. So we make sure that there is the right amount of focus on different issues, either through committees or a subcommittee of the board, and then following a calendar, and even the charter and calendar is approved by the full board.